This video is to go over the several examples of why a negative times a positive is negative and why a negative times a negative is positive. So our first example we talked about went along with our happy, sad metaphor. So positive numbers are things that make you happy, whereas negative numbers are things that make you sad. So an example could be me assigning you 3 homework assignments. So that would make you sad at a level of 3, so -3. And if I did that 2 days in a row, you'd be sad by 6. So that would be a -6. So I'm doubling the homework assignments, so you end up being sad by 6. Another example that we looked at was what it looked like on the number line. So if I have -3, I am going to start off here. And if I double that, I need to add another group of -3. So I'm going to keep on moving left 3 more, and I'm going to land on -6. So -3 times 2 can be thought of as -3 plus -3. So I have a sum of -6. We also looked at what multiplication looks like if I list it out and look for patterns. So we talked about 3 times 1 is 3, 2 times 1 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1, 0 times 1 is 0. And if I follow this pattern of 3, 2, 1, 0, it would make sense for the next multiplication result to be a -1. So the product of -1 and 1 is -1. The product of -2 and 1 is -2. The product of -3 and 1 is -3. So again, we're seeing a negative times a positive results in a negative product. We talked about in multiplication, the order does not matter. So -1 times 1 equals -1. If I started with a +1 and multiplied it by -1, it would still be the same product of -1. So I'm showing that here in red. So if I switch the order, 1 times -1 is still -1. Okay, and the same pattern of a negative times a positive is negative. 3 times -1 is -3. 2 times -1 is -2. 1 times -1 is -1. And following this pattern, after 0 times -1 is 0, it would make sense for this pattern to continue to have a +1, a +2, a +3. So -1 times -1 is +1. -2 times -1 is +2. -3 times -1 is +3. And another example that we talked about with negatives is the running videos. So in the running video, someone was running backwards at 4 miles per hour. So we represented that with a -4. If we then played the video of that person at triple speed, he would still look like he was running backwards. He would just now look faster, so 12 miles per hour. So -4 times 3 for tripling results in a product of -12. Now, this one's a little bit complex, but if I had that video of him running backwards at 4 miles per hour and I played it in reverse and at half speed, 2 things are going to happen. He's going to look like he is running forwards now, so a positive product, but also the speed will be slower. So if I multiply half times 4, his speed will be cut in half. So his speed will be 2 miles per hour and he will look like he's going forward. All right, please feel free to rewind, replay any of this, pause, and take notes on what you think will help you best to remember a negative times a positive is a negative product and a negative times a negative is a positive product.